Jennifer Pascal works a full-time job all week and a part-time job on weekends. Yet she still struggles to make ends meet.
I'm always looking for another way to generate something.
Still, it's not enough. She's going through a divorce, has lost her home, filed bankruptcy, and now shares a 2-bedroom apartment with her 2 children. In the back of her mind, she knows it could be worse.
1 month out of work is going to be devastating to my household.
She's not alone.
Of course, every day you open a newspaper, you see people are losing jobs.
And the nightmare economy doesn't appear to be ending soon.
One of the things which is going to make this harder is because the individuals tend to lock onto their house and stay longer till it gets sold. So it's not like any other asset. And when you see your neighbors losing the job or not able to sell the home, then you start cutting back on consumption, and that affects the economy. So I don't remember the last 15 years any recession primarily driven by this type of housing bubble.
There ends up being a domino effect on people like Jennifer.
There are signs of inflation in the economy, and gas prices are going up, and unless you make smart decisions to drive more fuel efficient cars, certainly something else has got to give in a fixed budget. So the consumers are cutting back on spending, which shows up in the retail sales being down. And probably people are postponing purchases of big ticket items till things stabilize.
It all adds up to significant stress.
Just a year ago, only 59% of Americans reported financial stress as one of the top stressors in their life. This year, it is up to 82% of Americans.
And it's taking a toll on us, according to world-renowned stress specialist Dr. Kathleen Hall. Her perspective: think of your body as a car, with stress pushing it to its limit.
When we get more stressed, we go from 55 to 65 to 75 to 85. It's like putting your foot on that pedal. The body gets exhausted, and the body also starts constricting. So that's why strokes, cardiovascular disease, your immune system shuts down, it gets exhausted.
And the shame that comes with not being able to make ends meet only makes matters worse. That's why Dr. Hall says it's crucial to come together on this.
We really need to think that we are one human family going through this together. I think there's a strength and a power in that. We need to nip shame in the bud.
Look at things from a different perspective.
It's a time to be creative. It's a time to make yourself new, and it's a time to find out what you're made out of.
Dr. Hall uses an acronym SELF to help cope with stress.
S is for serenity. Serenity is the opposite of stress. So the things to think about in serenity is, what can I do to check back in with myself to relieve my stress?
Take some time to stop and listen. Listen to yourself, to music, or even just nature, which can do wonders.
It actually activates the reptilian, the very ancient part of our brain, which makes us feel calm and safe and secure.
And use other senses to escape.
Don't forget things like bath rituals. We are connected to water. All the research shows that water really calms us down. Make sure 1 or 2 times a week you take a bath, or you sit in that shower with your favorite aromatherapy.
Try to memorize an affirmation, a key phrase to keep you on track.
And you might even use just one word like strength or courage or resilience. Because, and we've done this in our own family. My husband has a word, my daughter has a word, I have a word. And what we do is, when we lose our way, when one of us gets a little stressed out, depressed, anxious, fearful, we'll wink at each other and go, remember your word.
The E stands for exercise.
Even little bouts of exercise for 2 to 3 minutes immediately reduces your stress hormones you put out and increases endorphins, serotonin, and all those wonderful things, gives you an immune boost.
You don't have to run a marathon. Just park a little farther away from the door at the store, or take a walk with the family after dinner.
Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, get outside for 5 minutes. We know that in a recent study, people report 80% less depression and anxiety. Just being outside, smelling that air, feeling the sun on your face, listening to those birds, listening to the wind. This is a chance to be creative. Also, you're building family memories during this time. So do you want your children to remember this as a doom and gloom time, or a time where the family got creative and pulled together?
The L stands for love.
Make sure you hug your kids, hug your spouse, your person that's biggest or most important in your life.
Dr. Hall recommends finding a friend to help you cope through your crisis.
Share your worries. Have one person that you have vowed during this time of financial stress to totally disclose your worries to.
And the F is for food. Fill your body with the good stuff.
Number one is omega-3 fatty acids. We know that eating white fish, sardines, things very, very full of omega-3 fatty acids actually help with depression and anxiety. They actually have a kind of fat that coat the brain cells. They help with neurotransmission. They help with your immune system.
The B6 foods like bananas, rice, and turkey can help you too. Another tip, add more antioxidants to your diet and have fun doing it.
Take your family to a blueberry farm, freeze them, and then all winter long you'll be telling stories as you're baking blueberries, putting them on ice cream, eating them frozen as a treat.
By remembering yourself, you'll be able to build up the strength to get you through these financial hard times.
Imagine yourself as a sponge filled with water, and actually go home today and feel that sponge. And what stress does is then start squeezing the water out of it and squeezing it out. That's what it does. It just squeezes the life out of us mentally, physically, and spiritually.
And finally, be sure to remember your children will learn from your example on how you coped with hard times.
This is going to be an interesting trip, an interesting odyssey, an adventure. Make it almost like into a superhero adventure, and you will be amazed at what you can possibly do with all this financial stress.
Jennifer sees the silver lining with her situation and says her children are actually learning some priceless life lessons from their experience.
So I do think that they're starting to understand the value of a dollar. My son is the one that's going around shutting off lights in the house, to keep the electric bill down. They're wiser with even groceries, wasting food and stuff like that. They're paying more attention where they didn't before.
And even though she's not sure how she'll get through, she knows she will.
I'm not a negative person. I have to smile, I have to keep going. I don't have time for whining.